The trucks are hauling stone from the southwestern sales terminal next to Sandpoint Beach, east along Riverside Drive to Green Park Boulevard, then south to Wyandotte Street East, then east to Banwell, and then south to the construction site. And then they make the return trip on the same route.
Yeah, that's one of the trailer ones. It's hectic, it's loud. I mean, they're very polite. I mean, I think the drivers are going out of their way not to irritate us, but the fact that, you got these tons and tons of vehicles going by makes it difficult, especially when they have the tandems, which I'm surprised they're allowed on this street.
And actually, trucks aren't allowed on this part of Wyandotte Street. One of the neighbors has started a petition and has 30 names so far. The trucks are working for Amico Construction, which is doing the prep work on the battery plant site. They began hauling the aggregate from 3 terminals at the end of August, but we're taking a route down Riverdale to Wyandotte and then down Lauson. But this week, the city told Amico to change the route to this current one. The district manager for Amico Infrastructures tells CBC News they don't like the route any more than the residents do.
I'm trying to talk to the city to come to some type of mutual resolution that's agreeable to everybody, because I can appreciate the fact that the residents, don't want all the trucks on their streets.
Dawson says they'd like to at least have the trucks return along a different route. CBC News reached out to the city and we're told the number of truck trips is declining and the pain will only be for another 4 to 5 weeks. The chief building official addressed truck traffic in a recent news release. To minimize the impact to residents and drivers, the city has been proactively reaching out to developers and contractors to ensure they are aware of and are following our bylaws with respect to road use, writes John Revelle. Meanwhile, Councillor Ewan Gill says he contacted the city engineering department today to try to find a solution to the issue. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
Road surfaces are a major issue in Windsor, especially in certain pockets of the city. And for some voters, it's also an election issue. TJ Deere has been looking at the numbers to see just how bad the problem is.
Windsor residents are upset when it comes to road conditions in the city.
That hinders the free movement of traffic, and it is a potential accident hazard as well.
They take a long time to finish. A lot of them are horrible. They've broken my car many, many times.
Take a look at the complaints. For the past 3 years, wards 2 and 5 have ranked among the top 3 wards with the most pothole repair requests submitted. This year, the 2 wards combined for almost a third of the total requests. And it's not just potholes. Sidewalk repairs are also an issue, especially in Ward 4. The ward has had the most repair requests submitted for the last 3 years. This year alone, Ward 4 has almost a quarter of the total requests. Ward 4 candidate Matt Marchand isn't surprised. He says trees push the sidewalk up, creating a trip hazard. His campaign has looked overseas for a solution.
We looked at places in Europe, for example, for some solutions. It's called the continuous sidewalk, where the sidewalk is actually here, but the road is here. So the cars have to slow down to get to the road level. So for people with disability issues, the sidewalk is always the same. You don't have to step down and step back up. It's a continuous sidewalk.
Sometimes walk and a half away.
And they didn't ask anybody in the neighborhood or anything about.
Fellow Ward 4 candidate Eddie Haddad is also not surprised, saying trucks driving on the road and construction make things worse. His plan?
I would like to ban semi-trucks off of residential streets and even streets like Wyandotte, which is actually becoming a huge concern for neighbors. That way we're not dealing with as much damage in our neighborhoods. I do want us to look at also the way we do construction. So for example, if we're going to change the water pipes, I want us to change the water pipes and the sewers at the same time.
Although the City of Windsor has budgeted almost $510 million in their 10-year plan for roads infrastructure, Jainik Shah is skeptical about how that money is being used.
Since I've been living in the West End, I've never seen improving the roads and also the accessible roads too. So definitely in the next election, definitely I want even the local council or the MP to move forward and improve the road access and also to improve the roads better.
TJ Deere, CBC News, Windsor.
A tentative deal has been reached between the city and its inside workers. There are about 1,400 employees, part of CUPE Local 543. They work as bylaw enforcement officers, social service workers, and building inspectors, among other jobs. Back in September, employees voted to strike if no deal was reached. Neither the city nor the union will say much about what's in this contract, other than it's a 3-year deal that still needs to be voted on by members, and that's expected to happen in November. Affordable housing has been top of mind for many voters this election. The LGBTQ+ community is one that faces extra barriers. Trans Wellness Ontario is pushing for housing and shelter staff across the city to get special training to work with this group. A social worker with the organization says she knows the struggle firsthand. She was homeless while also trying to help others.
Since June of 2021, I've lived in 5 different places. And over the course of the year and a half, I have been homeless. I have been homeless in my life a couple times. When I was in university and social work, I was homeless twice. At first, I was thinking, how can I be a housing support worker? I don't even know how to make this work for me. And I think it's important to say that because I've read in the newspaper, I've heard on the news, where are the social workers? Why aren't they helping? Well, sometimes the social workers are homeless too. We're human too. The City of Windsor has invited me to the Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee. So, our community does have a voice through me. Something that we're talking about in those meetings is figuring out how exactly to help to us LGBTQIA+ folks, what those barriers are, like identifying what they are, what can we do about it, what can we do to make places safer, what can we do to make places more affirming and competent. And some of those ideas are really great, and some of them are already starting to come into play. So recently, I've been meeting with leadership at different shelters, and I've been meeting with other housing providers. And a great thing to report is that those folks really want to work with us.
The Windsor Islamic Association is keeping an eye on this municipal election. For more, I'm joined by Zaid Khan. He's the media director with the Windsor Islamic Association. So Zaid, thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much for having us.
Zaid, what are the biggest issues for you this election?
I think there's a few issues that are facing us from the Muslim community, but at large as Windsorites as a whole. And I think those issues start primarily with housing. A lot of people within our community are struggling with both availability as well as affordability of housing. And we're hoping that the new council will help in terms of finding some unique solutions that are going to be beneficial to us in terms of what we're facing in the socioeconomic landscape right now.
Can you elaborate on that? What are some of the unique challenges that the Muslim community might be facing when it comes to housing affordability?
I think when we think of housing, we have to think also about job availability and minimum wage, or the wage of work. If we look at the current minimum wage, or let's even say a few dollars above minimum wage, if you have a family with one single income, it would be very difficult to afford, feasible housing situation. When we say family, sometimes it might be 3 or 4 individuals. That would amount to more expenses than what you would be making, or you would be living paycheck to paycheck. So we think that the solution to this comes in a magnitude of different ways, and we're excited to work with the new council to help facilitate it from our end.
And what are you seeing from candidates so far when it comes to addressing some of these issues?
We're very fortunate. We held an event this past Friday for all of the candidates to come and join and share some of their ideas for our city. I think first and foremost, our approach is that we want to be thankful of all of the candidates to make the sacrifice both personally and in your career to go into public service and work towards the betterment of others. This is truly something very noble, and it's something that your community appreciates from you. We had all of the candidates come and show up. We hosted about 50 of them in total, and they were able to converse with our community members and share some ideas that they had in terms of improving our city. And I think that it was a very well-received event. From our side, we encourage everyone to get out and vote and ensure that their voices are being heard.
Really appreciate your time, Zaid.
Thank you very much.
Zaid Khan is the media director with the Windsor Islamic Association. The term strong mayor might be something you're hearing more of. It's an idea from the Ford government that's already in the works in Toronto and Ottawa, set to take effect soon. Now it could be coming to Windsor. Here's how City Council works today. Administration reports to Council. Council makes decisions by majority. In Windsor, that's 6 votes if everyone is present. The mayor, they get 1 vote, equal to a councillor's. The newly proposed legislation offers much more power. The mayor could direct staff to create draft policies for council to vote on. They could hire or fire the city manager, something Windsor Council did this year as a collective. And they could also override some council decisions if it meets provincial priorities. 2/3 of council would need to vote against the mayor's veto power for it not to move ahead. Windsor candidates for mayor Drew Dilkins and Chris Holt both sit on city council. Here are their thoughts.
If I was elected on Monday, I would not use strong mayor powers because it's completely at the discretion of the mayor what he does with them. So it's something that goes against every fiber of my being. Here I was elected to work with the 10 members of council to come with the best collective vision and decisions around the council table. And everybody has different input. To degrade that, I think, is a rather disgusting idea.
I'm going to wait and see what happens. At the end of the day, I want to see the report that comes back from our administration. Councillor Kashak asked a very sensible question, and that was for administration to go back and tell council in written form, what does it mean? What are these powers? What does it mean, and how would it work? And that's the report that we're waiting back for from our administration.
If it were to come to Windsor, would you use it?
Listen, I'm going to wait for the report to come back that spells out what the powers entail and how they would work before I make any determination.
The legislation was first tabled in September, and on Monday, Premier Doug Ford said it will go to mid-sized cities like Windsor, likely next year. You can find the other responses from mayoral candidates on our website, where we have continued coverage of this election. And on that Monday night, we will have you covered when it comes to election coverage as well. I will be here in studio delivering results for you live. And we will also have a team of reporters bringing you the latest developments. It all starts at 8 o'clock just as the polls close. So make sure you tune in online at cbc.ca/Windsor and on CBC Gem. There are significant deficiencies at the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority. That is according to a recent report from the Office of Canada's Auditor General. The authority oversees the construction of the Gordie Howe Bridge, a $5.7 billion project. The report points out a number of issues, like no clear performance indicators to show goals are being met, the board not having enough information to make proper decisions, quote, significant turnover in the executive team, concerns around risk management. The audit made 8 recommendations as well. The Bridge Authority declined an interview, but said in a statement that it is working to address these concerns. People in our city have their eyes on Haiti as the country sees a gang-style crime wave sweep across the country and the nation's democratic institutions collapse.
You're here with your family, but you still have family in Haiti, but it's hurting. The country is hurting now, and you can see that, even if you're far away from that.
That's Pastor Renel Sinan of the Haitian Evangelical Baptist Church in Windsor. He said the congregation is anxious. A blockade has been set up at Port-au-Prince with gangs extorting people to control territory. The United Nations says human rights violations have reached alarming levels. Canada has sent armored vehicles to help as the crisis intensifies. Sinan says families are worried about loved ones back home.
Everybody, they call you, the situation is worse, especially in Port-au-Prince. But if you live some area not inside the corridor, probably you have opportunity now to live. But inside Port-au-Prince, they make you a slave. They make people like in jail inside a house. Look, sometimes they don't have opportunity to go outside because the gangs, a lot of crazy people with gangs.
Let's take a live look outside. There, the sun is shining, and it'll shine again tomorrow, and then again on Sunday. Josiah Sinanen will be here after the break to tell us more about it. Welcome back. It is time now for a look at our weather forecast, and for that we have the wonderful Josiah Sinanen with us. Josiah, yesterday we were in shock and horror over the snow that fell, but I'm hoping that you have good news for us in the days ahead.
Yes, I am back with some sunny news.
Great.
With my sunny
I'll take
personality. Here we go. So that was a bit of a scary moment yesterday with those flurries, feeling a bit more like a November fall than a October fall, but we're getting back to what we're used to. Looking at our 5-day tonight, we have a clear evening with a low of 11. Tomorrow we are climbing up to 21 and sunny. Sunday and Monday highs of 22 and sunny. I can't wait for that. No precipitation over those 3 days. Clear nights with lows of 10 and 12. And on Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Still a nice high of 20 and a cloudy evening with a low of 10.
Okay, so wonderful to hear about a very sunny weekend ahead, and perhaps the joy that the sunshine will bring to us can also inspire reaching for joy when it comes to the WIF Festival.
Yes.
How was my segue? I think I did okay.
You know what? It worked. It worked.
Okay.
And that's right. WIF, the box office opened this week. Really exciting. There's so
Awesome.
many films coming out. I have about 40 tabs open on my computer right now. So I did some of the hard work for you, and I chose some 3 films that I'm looking at right now. We'll start with some local picks. Firstly, I want to talk about this film called Indian Horse. And this is a film actually from 2017, but there's a special screening happening on November 1st with some special guests. Bev Jacobs from the University of Windsor will be there. There'll be an Indigenous elder, and there'll also be the Windsor Lancers there. So there'll be a special Q&A after. Great thing to catch there. It's about a residential school survivor finding solace in hockey. This second one here, the Erie situation. Obviously, we're right on Lake Erie. This is on Wednesday, November 2nd. It's at the Armory's Performance Hall. And this is actually supported by the Great Lakes Institute for Environmental Research. So it's a big deal because this is the Canadian premiere, and there'll be other institutes coming in, and it's basically about how the water in Toledo got affected by the algae blooms in Lake Erie. So I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. And lastly, I wanted to end with this one. This is causing a lot of chatter. It's called Triangle of Sadness. It won the Palme d'Or in Cannes, and it is going to be having 4 showings over the film festival, so definitely worth checking this one out. It's a bit of a satirical piece. I heard from the WIF organizer that it is a great cause for discussion. It's something to watch with a big audience, so I'm definitely going to be sitting in the audience and interacting with that movie as well.
Awesome. Are you a big movie buff, Josiah?
I am. I love going to the movies.
So this is right up your alley, and you're going to be talking more about WIF next week on Afternoon Drive?
Yes, on Afternoon Drive, we'll have all the details, and you can also see the lineup for yourself at windsorfilmfestival.com or on Instagram at Windsor Film Fest. You can see me at the events. It's my first WIF, so I'm really excited to check it out.
Yes, and it all kicks off on Thursday.
That's right. Get your tickets this weekend.
So that's very exciting, and everybody else, when we come back, stay with us because Windsor is getting ready for Diwali. We'll bring you that. Stay with us. Welcome back. Diwali is just around the corner. It is the festival of lights, but all week long, we've also been excited about the snacks that come with it. And I've tried some and they are delicious, especially after our video producer, Darren DiCarlo, stopped by Namaste Supermarket to see what goes into getting prepped for the big day.
So we are preparing jalebis here today for our customers, which is fresh. We're making it fresh here. It's a gram flour, and then we can put it in the oil, and then we can put it into the sugary liquid so that it tastes become very sweet. We have few of them very popular in our country, which is kesar peda, jalebis, milk cake, carrot burfi. Those are the main sweets that we sell it a lot more. Back home, we have even more varieties, but here in Canada, we still have a little bit limitation in terms of what we can sell. So we try to sell as many varieties of sweets we can.
Main thing for Diwali for me is decorating the house, make like Indian sweets, and now like they are doing it's a different trend. They are doing the fusion. For example, you see the gulab jambu sweet, that's Indian, and cheesecake is the American thing, and now they are making fusion, like Indo-fusion sweets like gulab jambu cheesecake, rasmalai cheesecake. So I'm very fascinated about that, and every year I keep trying to make different kind of fusion sweets. So for me, Diwali is like try new things on sweets, and welcoming friends is just one more opportunity for gathering and enjoying with your friends and family.
So we are preparing for this this year's Diwali since October 1st week. So it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to prepare, because we are preparing about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of sweets in order to cater to our customers, right?
I just want to wish you everyone happy and healthy Diwali, and this Diwali bring prosperity in your life, and all the bad things or just bring happiness in your life.
That is it for CBC Windsor News. And just a reminder to vote. Monday morning, we will have all of the details on our website for people in Windsor who are making their choice, because of course Monday is election day, and all of the information about candidates, the candidate profiles, they are on our website. We'll also have a guide on how to go through the voting process as well. We're also looking at the biggest issues that voters have on their minds. So once again, you can find all that on cbc.ca/Windsor, and we will also have special coverage of the results Monday night from 8 to 9:15, which you'll be able to stream on our website and also on the CBC Gem. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.